We good to go?
Yeah. Wait. For me. No, I'm all confused. Okay. On.
Bruce doesn't have a full screen. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship, Franklin, North Carolina. We are a lay-led congregation of open minds and caring connections. I am Margery Abel, and I'm happy to be your service leader this morning. Annette, do you have any announcements for us?
Dewey, there we go. Okay, all you little elves and toy designers and snow engineer people out there in Zoom land, now's the time. Make your announcements. We're waiting. I don't think so. Go right ahead. Oh, wait, but we do. There seems to be an elf here who has a very odd name. Go right ahead, elf named Bonnie.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Oh, I wasn't sure this headphone thing is working. Mark is still sleeping because he was paged out last night. It's nice to see everyone. Happy holidays. And we're getting very close to printing our new directory and getting the information out in various formats, including online, hopefully. And we also can send that out as a PDF, but if you want to have a printed directory as we have in years past, please let me know so we can make sure we order enough for you. And you can email me or phone me. My info's in the directory. And that's for members and friends of our fellowship. Thank you so much.
And I think that's all,
Oh,
Mark.
deadline is Friday. Sorry.
Okay,
Thank you.
go right ahead. Okay, good.
We have our service this morning is going to be conducted by the members of the board, and I would like to say that we may have a few glitches. So if that should happen, I hope you will bear with us. Today, our opening words are going to come from our board president, Becky Thorndike.
Good morning. This is a sound check. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, go right ahead.
Okay. This is considered the season of Advent. Advent means the introduction of something important. The advent of this current board's leadership emerged about 3 years ago. At that time, the vision became what is now titled Strategically Focused Governing Board, as written about by the Reverend David Pyle. This means that the direction launched gave the committees the responsibility for the planning and taking action for programs for the fellowship. The board pays attention to understanding the fellowship's vision, mission, and goals. Then the board provides guidance and direction for the fellowship while maintaining overall responsibility for the fiduciary and overall health of the fellowship. They work on developing policy and procedural guidance for the fellowship and ensure that the assets of the fellowship are protected and utilized to achieve the vision, mission, and goals. Today, you'll be hearing from the members of the board with Bruce Brandsma's role to light and extinguish the chalice. Today was originally to be our traditional Christmas service. However, this season, the expectation or the arrival of our Advent is defined by hearing from the board members today as they share their thoughts with you. We light our chalice knowing that the advent of our service is at hand. Thank you.
The keeper of the chalice today is Bruce Brandsma, one of our trustees. Want to say a few words? No. Well, I'll say them for you. Okay. I think I will. Go ahead. Yes, I do. Fire consumes and casts a bright light. May our chalice flame consume our regrets for the past, our fears for the future, and our worries about today. May it light us a path of joy and peace. Our opening hymn today is The Little Drummer Boy.
Hello. You the new butler?
Well, it's been a long time since I've been the new anything.
What's happened to Hudson?
I guess he's changing.
Yeah, he does that a lot, doesn't he? I'm David Bowie. I live down the road.
Oh.
Sir Percival lets me use his piano when he's not around. He's not around, is he?
I can honestly say I haven't seen him, but come on in. Come in.
But
Come on in.
are you related to Sir Percival?
Well, distantly,
Oh, you're not the poor relation from America, right?
Ha! Gee, news sure travels fast, doesn't it? I'm Bing.
Oh, I'm pleased to meet you. You're the one that sings, right?
Well, right or wrong, I sing either way.
Oh, well, I sing too.
Oh, good. What kind of singing?
Well, mostly the contemporary stuff. Do you like modern music?
Oh, I think it's marvelous. Some of it really fine. But tell me, you ever listen to any of the older fellas?
Oh, yeah, sure. I like John Lennon and the other one with Harry Nilsson.
Ooh, you go back that far, huh?
Oh, yeah, I'm not as young as I look.
None of us is these days.
In fact, I've got a 6-year-old son, and he really gets excited around the Christmas holiday thing.
Do you go in for any of the traditional things in the Bowie household Christmas time?
Oh, yeah, most of them, really. Presents, tree, decorations, agents sliding down the chimney.
What?
I was just seeing if you're paying attention. Actually, our family do most of the things that other families do. We sing the same songs.
Do you?
I even have a go at White Christmas.
You too, huh?
And this one. This is my son's favorite. Do you know this one?
Oh, I do indeed. It's a lovely thing.
Come, they told me, bum a newborn king to see, bum Our finest gifts we bring, bum rum-pa-pum-pum, rum-pa-pum-pum. Peace on earth, can it be? Years from now, perhaps we'll see the day of glory. See the day when men of goodwill live in peace again. So peace on earth, when we come. Every child must be made aware. Every child must be made to care. Care enough for his fellow man, to give all the love that he can. I pray my wish will come true. As for my child and your child too, he'll see the day of glory. I see the day when men of goodwill live in peace again. Peace on earth, can it be? Can it be?
Most Sundays, we have speakers from elsewhere who come and share their wisdom and insights and entertain us. We often overlook the fact that we ourselves have valuable wisdom, insights, and talents. This morning, we're showcasing the members of our UU board. These are the individuals charged with managing the business of running this fellowship. These are the unsung heroes of our fellowship. I suspect many of you don't even know who they all are. Well, you're going to find out this morning. They volunteer their time and their talents with little or no recognition from the rest of us. This is an opportunity for us to hear from each board member and to express our gratitude. The members of our board who will be participating in our service today are Becky Thorndike, who is our president, Don Erickson, who is our vice president, Jim Mara, who is our treasurer, and our trustees, Becky Dobbs, Paul Chu, Olga Pater, Laura Loveless, and Bruce Brandsma. I'm going to introduce each one of those in the order that I've just read to you, and each one of them is going to give you a slight presentation. And at the end, Don Erickson has a video that he's going to show. So the first one up is Becky Dobbs, our trustee.
Becky, please unmute.
All right, I'm not sure I have it set to share sound, but we'll find out in a minute. Talk about glitches. The joy and labor of giving and getting. It says I would, for me. I guess I come by that naturally. My mother used to say that the year I was born in mid-December was the only year she ever got the Christmas preparations done early. And then she sat and rocked and sang Christmas carols to me until I was ready to be born. As a child, I loved everything about Christmas. The lights, the ornaments, the smells of the baking and of the cedar tree we always got, by unspoken rule, never until after my birthday. The songs, the pageantry at our Episcopal church, and of course the gifts. I loved practicing my detective skills on what was under the tree ahead of time, and I loved my family's tradition of taking turns opening and everybody exclaiming over what each person got. But we were a family of makers, and before I was very old, I got caught up in the deep satisfaction of making gifts for everyone. I loved to wrap them too, making the presentation part of the gift I gave. My mother soon figured this out and had me wrapping things for others in the family. Ah, this giving, what joy! As a young woman, I tried to develop ways to keep giving of myself to people around me, and found that a pretty satisfying way to live. For instance, I had a lot of footloose friends, and I would always help them move, getting a kick out of my own strength at the same time. But life changed completely for me in April of 1982. One day I was playing soccer, the next I could not get out of bed. Not only could I not help others, I needed lots of help myself, and still do in a number of ways. Where that joy of giving now? And what hard work it is to be always getting, even though grateful for each gift of help or support or love or beauty. After 4 decades of illness, it remains a struggle to earn a living and to do the most basic kinds of self-care. I am so very lucky, though, that as long as I don't get too fatigued or have a flare-up, my brain is mostly still good. Or at least, it came back to me after the first several years of illness. This fact inspired me to go back to school, and in 2007, I earned a PhD in human geography, mere moments before they kicked me out for taking too long. It is only recently, in the long introspection opportunity that is COVID, that I've come to understand that not all of the support and help I need is due to my illness. For some years, I have wondered in a vague way if I might be autistic. Now, having done the reading and the inner sojourn, my answer is a resounding yes. This is not a tragic moment, but a joyfully received gift from the cosmos, because it explains so much that has been painfully mystifying. I find I am freed, finally, from my own sense of failure. Also free to acknowledge the hardness of social contact and to savor the supports that ease it a bit for me. Well, now you know why what little I can offer our fellowship is all in the realm of the mind and never in the realm of hospitality or grounds or yard sales or phone calls or too frequent meetings. It is also the reason the small things I feel able to offer the fellowship often take a long time to come to fruition. Obviously, the conditions of my life have made it hard for me to keep any kind of balance between giving and getting. I can tell you from experience that it is wearing on the soul to be so little able to give of oneself, just as it is wearing on a person to have to always give and never get anything back. Many of us were taught explicitly that it is more blessed to give than to receive. And most of us love to give of ourselves as long as the gift is freely given. But for every person, there comes a time for receiving, either because you need the support or because the other person needs to give it to you. Is it possible that doing the hard labor of getting is as important as the joy of giving? Maybe the most blessed path is the one best balanced within the context of our interconnected web of life. Then perhaps do the giving and the getting become as one.
Our next presenter today is Paul Chu with some help from his cat, Gypsy.
Well, good morning. Joining me is my housemate, Amy Lathrop, and she's going to help with my little presentation here. It's an honor to come before you and talk as a board member and finance chair, so I will start to begin. Our UU principles support all life on this planet. We value the worth and dignity of every individual and those who are yet unborn. Our future and that of generations to come depends on our ability to meet the challenges that we face today, right now. Climate crisis is both an environmental and social justice issue, which we as Unitarian Universalists embrace. So let our gifts this Christmas be ones that support both the human family and all life on this planet today and in the days to come. It wouldn't be Christmas without some words of wisdom from Gypsy, the philosophical cat. I'd like to share a little conversation that we had. A Christmas conversation 2020. Was that a mouse I just saw scurrying along the wall?
Yes, I believe it was.
And you were just sitting here watching it.
Yes, I'm busy grooming right now.
Well, I thought cats were supposed to chase mice and eat them.
That is a Christmas mouse, and it has a special place in my heart.
Oh, please explain.
All creatures on earth have a place and a right to live out their lives.
Mice can get into our food, and they leave little surprises all over that someone, namely me, has to clean up. They could carry diseases as well.
That was only one mouse, and it's very small. I don't mind sharing a little bit of my food with it.
Is us. But where there is one mouse, there may be more mice to come.
This is a big house. Isn't there room for more here?
I just won't stand for this. One has to draw the line somewhere.
It won't be on my conscience to kill that mouse, especially when it's Christmas time. Besides, I'm quite content with my diet of dry cat food.
But do you know what goes into making your food?
I believe that whatever goes into my food was raised for that purpose. And I accept that whatever lives were sacrificed, it was for the benefit of life, not death. I don't feel that sacrificing this mouse would serve that purpose.
So you intend on just watching this mouse run amok here?
I've already agreed to share my food with it. I will just eat a little less. I've been thinking about going on a diet anyway. I'm not as active in the winter, although we have had some lovely days lately.
I'm not sure I share all your considerations. However, I will respect your wishes, at least for this Christmas day, and I will have to think on all this.
I'm wondering what Christmas means to you.
I feel it is the time of the year to count our blessings and acknowledge what we are grateful for, even in these times of trials.
Perhaps it is when things are difficult that we get strength to follow a just path and appreciate the small things in life.
Like the scurrying of small furry creatures.
That all creatures have a place in what we call life. All life is precious and sacred.
Yes, there are many things to be grateful for, friends. A warm place to be out of the weather, the diversity and interdependency of life, and so much more.
Yes, and just being here now, this is perhaps the most precious gift that we can share together.
I notice that you've been wanting to snuggle up to me more lately and being with me, even when I'm just watching a movie.
Cats like to conserve energy. You feel warm to me and I enjoy your company. I like being scratched.
I like knowing you care and want to be with me. Blessed be, and may our way be easy.
May we find room in our heart for creatures great and small. Blessed be.
Blessed be. Thank you, Amy.
Thank you, Paul. Our next presenter is Trustee Olga Pater, and she will give us a few words of wisdom.
Yeah.
Los pastores en Belén al niño le hacen regalos y nosotros guajiritos con la clave le cantamos. Anda, anda, niño lindo, escucha nuestro cantar, que esta noche es noche buena, noche de felicidad. Al son del zapateado nos ponemos a bailar para alegrar al niñito de carita celestial. Anda pronto, niño lindo, y guía nuestro compás, que queremos ser felices en la Santa Navidad. Los pastores en Belén al niño le hacen regalos. Los pastores en Belén al niño le hacen regalos y nosotros guajiritos con la clave le cantamos. Anda, anda, niño lindo, escucha nuestro cantar. Anda, anda, niño lindo, escucha nuestro cantar, que esta noche es noche buena, noche de felicidad. Al son del zapateado nos ponemos a bailar. Al son del zapateado nos ponemos a bailar para alegrar al niñito de carita celestial. Anda pronto, niño lindo, y guía nuestro compás, que queremos ser felices en la Santa Navidad.
Thank you, Olga. Our next presenter is Laura Loveless. She is also a member of the board. She's one of our trustees.
That was beautiful, Olga. Hello, everybody. I'm Laura Loveless, a board member in my third term and a UUFF member for 12 years and a Unitarian Universalist for 60 years. Although I'm a member of this fellowship, if I must have a label, I would call myself a humanist. I and many other humanists have been accepted into this fellowship. We tend to work well together. Our goals are the same: love, respect, compassion, consideration, tolerance, and acceptance of other human beings along with their many differences. I intended to read a speech I wrote the other day, then I decided not to because it was too preachy. So this speech is mainly about respectful conversations. I request that you practice listening. Listen to understand. I meet with a social study group called Open Minds here in Clayton. Some of you have attended. We recently have been studying how to have a good conversation. By good conversation, I mean respectful conversation rather than debate, bringing together and inclusive rather than divisive, calling people in rather than calling them out. We in our fellowship can refer to, learn, and practice our 7 principles, but that is not enough. At the same time, we can learn how to have good conversations. First, put our cell phones away, then learn to listen. Listen to achieve deep understanding. When our fellowship returns to in-person services, we will be seeing old friends and hopefully meeting new ones. I think it would be best to greet, spend time with, and get to know the new people. Remember that good conversations take time and attention, and are skills we can constantly practice. I'm so proud of all of you. We have come together with our special talents and quickly learned new skills to put on a Zoom service each Sunday. Of course, we have glitches now and then. We are not professionals. The congregation understands that, and we are compassionate and caring at these times. Consider all the hours spent learning and producing our services and the people participating. They are amazing, dedicated folks. I admire and thank all of you. We even have found a way to do game night, music practice, and other activities while we meet apart. My hope, and I am sure everyone's hope for the new year, is that we gather together with the love we all share and have one great big group hug. Have a joyful, jolly, and healthy new year. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura.
You're welcome.
Our next presenter is Don Erickson, who is our vice president, and he's going to have a video for us.
Christmas Day in the Morning by Pearl S. Buck, abridged. He woke suddenly and completely. It was 4 o'clock, the hour at which his father had always called him to get up and help with the milking. Strange how the habits of youth clung to him still. 50 years ago, and his father had been dead for 30 years, and yet he waked at 4 o'clock in the morning. He had trained himself to turn over and go to sleep. But this morning, because it was Christmas, he did not try to sleep. Yet what was the magic of Christmas now? His childhood and youth were long past, and his own children had grown up and gone. Some of them lived only a few miles away, but they had their own families, and though they would come in as usual toward the end of the day, they had explained with infinite gentleness that they wanted their children to build Christmas memories about their houses, not his. He was left alone with his wife. Yesterday she had said, "It isn't worthwhile, perhaps," and he had said, "Oh yes, Alice, even if there are only the 2 of us, let's have a Christmas of our own." Then she had said, "Let's not trim the tree until tomorrow, Robert, just so it's ready when the children come. I'm tired." He had agreed, and the tree was still out in the back entry. He lay in his big bed in his room. Why did he feel so awake tonight? He slipped back in time, as he did so easily nowadays. He was 15 years old and still on his father's farm. He loved his father, and he had not known it until one day, a few days before Christmas, when he had overheard what his father was saying to his mother. "Mary, I hate to call Rob in the morning. He's growing so fast and he needs to sleep. If you could see how he sleeps when I go in to wake him up. I wish I could manage alone." "Well, you can't, Adam," his mother's voice was brisk. "Besides, he isn't a child any more. It's time he took his turn." "Yes," his father had said slowly, "but I sure do hate to wake him." When he heard these words, something in him woke. His father loved him. He had never thought of it before, taking for granted the tie of their blood. Neither his father nor his mother talked about loving their children. They had no time for such things. They had always so much to do on the farm. And then on the night before Christmas that year, when he was 15, he lay for a few minutes thinking about the next day. They were poor, and most of the excitement was in the turkey they had raised themselves and in the mince pies his mother made. His sisters sewed presents, and his mother and father always bought something he needed, not only a warm jacket, but something more, such as a book, and he saved and he bought them each something too. He wished the Christmas he was 15 he had a better present for his father. As usual, he had gone to the 10-cent store and bought a tie. It had seemed nice enough until he lay thinking the night before Christmas. Then he wished he had heard his father and mother talking in time for him to save for something better. He lay on his side, his head supported by his elbow, and he looked out his attic window. The thought struck him like a silver dagger. Why should he not give his father a special gift too, out there in the barn? He could get up early, earlier than 4 o'clock, and he could creep into the barn and get all the milking done. He'd do it alone, milk and clean up, and then when his father went out to start the milking, he'd see it all done, and he would know who had done it. He laughed to himself as he gazed at the stars. It was what he would do, and he mustn't sleep too sound. He must have wakened 20 times, scratching a match each time to look at his old watch. Midnight, 1:30, then 2 o'clock. At 2:45 he got up and put on his clothes. He crept downstairs, careful of the creaky boards, and he let himself out. The big star hung lower over the barn roof, reddish gold. The cow looked at him, sleepy and surprised. It was early for them, too. He had never milked all alone before, but it seemed almost easy. He kept thinking about his father's surprise. The task went more easily than he had ever known it to before. Milking, for once, was not a chore. It was something else, a gift to his father, who loved him. He finished the 2 milk cans were full, and he covered them and closed the milk house door carefully, making sure of the latch. He put the stool in its place by the door and hung up the clean milk pail. Then he went out of the barn and barred the door behind him. Back in his room, he had only a minute to pull off his clothes in the darkness and jump into bed, for he heard his father up. He put the covers over his head to silence his quick breathing. The door opened. "Rob," his father called, "we gotta get up, son, even if it's Christmas." "All right," he said sleepily. "I'll go on out," his father said. "I'll get things started." The door closed and he lay still, laughing to himself. In just a few minutes his father would know. His dancing heart was ready to jump from his body. The minutes were endless, 10, 15, he did not know how many, and he heard his father's footsteps again. The door opened and he lay still. "Rob?" "Yes, Dad." "You son of a—" His father was laughing, a queer sobbing sort of laugh. "Thought you'd fool me, did you?" His father was standing beside his bed, feeling for him, pulling away the cover. "It's for Christmas, Dad." He found his father and clutched him in a big hug. He felt his father's arms go round him. It was dark, and they could not see each other's faces. "Son, I thank you. Nobody ever did a nicer thing. Oh, Dad, I want you to know I do want to be good." The words broke from him of their own will. He did not know what to say. His heart was bursting with love. "Well, I reckon I can go back to bed and sleep," his father said after a moment. "No, hark, the little ones are waked up. Come to think of it, son, I've never seen you children when you first saw the Christmas tree. I was always in the barn. Come on." He got up, pulled on his clothes again, and they went down to the Christmas tree, and soon the sun was creeping up to where the star had been. Oh, what a Christmas, and how his heart had nearly burst again with shyness and pride as his father told his mother and made the younger children listen about how he, Rob, had got up all by himself. "The best Christmas gift I ever had, and I'll remember it, son, every year on Christmas morning, so long as I live." They had both remembered it, and now that his father was dead, he remembered it alone, that blessed Christmas dawn when, alone with the cows in the barn, he had made his first gift of true love.
Thank you, Don. Our offertory words are going to be presented by Jim Mira, who is our treasurer. So I will turn that over to him and let Jim give us our offertory words.
Morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Today's reading is from John Saxon from UUA. This religious community exists by its mission, as a fire exists by burning. But a fire cannot burn without fuel. And it is in the time, the energy, the imagination, the vision, the creativity, the compassion, the love, and the financial support of the members and friends of this community that fuels our mission to nurture, and sustain a welcoming, inclusive, and diverse liberal religious community that transforms lives and serves the world. Your support, the free and generous support of each and every member and friend of this community, is what fuels this community and its mission. And without your support, the flame of justice, community, and love cannot burn brightly to warm ourselves and to be the beacon in the world threatened by division and fear. Thank you.
Jude is having some technical difficulties, so when she get back up, then she'll do the song. It'll be too late.
Do 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 do.
Hey guys, I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I cannot get the offertory music today. We had a flute solo by Warren, but somehow I'm having some technical difficulties and can't get back on the internet here. So we'll save that for next week, maybe.
Ba-dum, ba-dum, bum, bum.
Are we going to have offertory music? No. Oh, we're not? Okay. Well, then, I just, can we post the information about where you can send a check to or any of that sort of thing? Or we'll just save that for next time? I guess I will go ahead and give you our closing words. Our closing words are attributed to Sir Francis Assisi. Where hate rules, let us bring love. Where sorrow, joy. Let us strive more to comfort others than to be comforted, to understand others than to be understood, to love others more than to be loved. For it is in giving that we receive, and in pardoning that we are pardoned. Would you like to read the chalice words now, or you want me to read them? Okay, Bruce is going to, he's our keeper of the chalice, and he's going to read the chalice extinguishing words. You want to come up here? Bruce is one of our trustees.
We extinguish this flame, but keep it light in our hearts with its messages of love and justice, taking it outside these walls to the world we live in until we are together again.
Thank you, Bruce.
You're welcome.
Our closing hymn is Silent Night.
I'm doing a sound check. Can everybody hear?
Yes, we hear you just fine.
Okay. Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright. Round yon virgin mother and child, holy infant so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace. Silent night, holy night, shepherds quake at the sight, glories stream from heaven afar, heavenly hosts sing hallelujah. Christ the Savior is born. Christ the Savior is born. Silent night, holy night, Son of God, love's pure light, radiant beams from thy holy face, with the dawn of redeeming grace. Jesus, Lord, at thy birth, Jesus, Lord, at thy birth.
Thank you, Penny. When we are together, we gather in a circle and hold hands and recite our closing words. Since we are on Zoom, we will do a virtual holding of the hands and recite our closing words together. Can we go ahead? Love is the spirit of this fellowship, and community is its goal. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Annette, do we have any visitors today?
Looks to me like we're all well known to one another, although for whatever reason, everybody's using some weird code names for themselves today. No, I think we know each other.
This is the time that we share our joys and concerns with